Well, hello from Delmarva. Welcome back to Shorebilly Farmer. It has been quite a few days since we picked up the camera for several reasons. One, got busy at the 9-to-5 job. Two, just really trying to crank through some acres to get our corn crop in before some weather hit. And three, everybody in the house got sick. So yeah, it was, everybody was kind of down for the count for a while, but all is well with the world. Brought the combine home because we had about half an inch of rain last night. We're in our big 41 acre farm, which is maybe 8-9 miles away. And the corn there is fantastic. The first field I did, the whole field averaged 210 bushels to the acre, and that's including the deer damage and the water spots. That is 100% field average. Spots in the field were going 250, 270. I'm guessing that's, we don't have a yield monitor, but I could tell you by doing the yield checks on counting kernels on the ears and all that stuff, there is some phenomenal corn out there. It's the best corn I've ever raised. As a result of said excellent corn, our head has taken a beating. And let me show you what's happened here. So this auger runs, there's a trough underneath there, a pan, that this auger, as the corn comes up, comes to the middle, then goes up into the head and into the machine. Well, after bushels upon bushels running up and down this trough, the metal gets thin. As you can see, our metal is very thin. So I'm gonna hammer this back down, and I'm gonna have to get some plate steel to put in here, and I've got to concave it a little bit so that way it'll not interfere with the auger flightings. These are called flightings. So I've got to tack weld something in here to get us through harvest. This will eventually rip out if I don't do something with it. And we still have about 30 acres of corn left to go this year. So I don't need a catastrophe before we're finished. And they make new sections. As you can see, this all comes out. It's all able to be unbolted, taken out, and you replace that whole pan in there. And they even make poly pans that are like a real dense nylon material, and that might be what we put back in there. But for now, to get finished, it's just gonna be a patch job. So let's find us a couple pieces of sheet metal over here that I have left over from another project. That should do it. By the way, if you're just now tuning into the channel, my name is Richard Addis. I'm a first-generation farmer here on Delmarva. We farm about 6 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, and we do everything ourselves here. We tend to really not hire anybody to do anything. We just try to do as much as we can. I have a family of 5, my wife, 3 kids, and myself, 2 sons and a daughter. That's a quick rundown of who we are. So, stay tuned. There's a lot of equipment driving and fixing and fabricating. A lot of passing on what I've learned as being a first-generation farmer to hopefully inspire even just one person. Like I was inspired when I was young. Maybe I'll inspire somebody to become a first-generation farmer. So I need to first see if there's a way for me to bend this to match the concavity, to match the swoop. How's that? What that is. So I need to find something I can bend this around to get it permanently bent. I think I just found our donor. I'll bend it around that or that bucket or that. I don't know, there's a lot of things I can bend it around. Let's try it. If you can't tell, I'm excited to actually have the camera in my hand again. It's been a while, and the weather's right. For tomorrow, we'll start shelling corn again. Excited to show you guys what progress we've made. We've been really ripping through the acres. We really have. Despite the family being sick and having to stay home for a few days, we still got quite a bit done. It's not gonna be perfect, but it should do. I need 2 sections of this. I think I've told you guys this before, but I am not endorsed or sponsored by Milwaukee, but I really like their tools. And I will say I have tried a bunch of these Sawzall teeth. I've tried DeWalt's, I've tried Makita's, I've tried Diablo's. Anyway, I've tried a bunch of them. The Milwaukee blades their industrial line called Torch are about the best blades I've ever found. That will actually allow you to cut thick metal and last a long time. So don't waste your money on the other stuff. I'm telling you, yes, these blades are expensive, but they last 10 times longer than anything else I've found on the market. Get the carbide teeth Torch blades from Milwaukee. You'll be happy. Loud noises. Let's take you guys with me and see. Oh yeah. Corn out of the way. I think that'll work. So I just need, let's see, 1, 2. I probably could have gone just straight across, but I think doing it this way and putting a weld down the middle there and having 2 pieces this way and this way, I think will be a little stronger. Really, it doesn't have to be strong because it's not going to stay on there. It's just for 30 acres. I also don't want the combine to ingest this. That would not be good. Okay, before we get started on doing our welding, I wanted to show you something real quick. Since it's been a couple weeks since we spread our cover crop, this is it. So as you can see, the neighbors, they spread theirs across the road as well. And this is what winter wheat looks like a couple weeks after you plant it in the fall. Now you can see there's a lot of corn in this. So right here, there's a whole lot of corn. See these big patches there. The reason there's so much corn here that the combine didn't get or knocked off is because right here isn't a lot of overlap. So we had our 12 rows right here along the field edge that did not line up with our 12 rows as we worked across the field. So we had a lot of rows that were intertwined, and as the combine goes through it, you've seen in the videos, it shakes it and runs it, and you ultimately end up losing some on the ground. So usually where you have the big patches like this is where there was an ear of corn, and then when the discs came through, after we spread the cover crop, the winter wheat, after we do that, we come through with the discs and lightly incorporate it. So we only disted it about 2 to 3 inches. And what happens is it hits the whole cob of corn and knocks all the kernels off of it and then incorporates it into the ground and then actually plants it. So here's a good example right here. So there's the cob, and then as the discs went over it, it shattered the cob and spread the seeds all over the place. But all in all, really all you see in the field is patches where a cob fell, which there's nothing you're going to do about that. It's going to happen. You try to minimize it as best you can, but it's not going to really hurt anything. It's actually nice to see it come up right now and germinate, because then we won't be dealing with volunteer corn next year in our soybean crop, which could yield us or rob us of yield. So I'm actually glad to see it all germinating now. And then when we get our first frost, the corn will die. The winter wheat will stay and still be fine, but we're not going to harvest this winter wheat. The government pays us to plant it as a cover crop to keep something growing in the field at all times, and they say it helps keep nutrients from moving horizontally into waterways. I don't know. All I know is it paid us to actually do it, so that's why we did it. That's the only reason we did it. Let's get welding. I got everything test fit over here. By the way, I don't know if you remember last time I was welding, I kept having issues with the welder. It just seemed like the voltage was fluctuating. So we bought a very heavy duty extension cord to see if maybe the issue is voltage drop coming to the welder here. So we'll see if that works. But we got our plates cut. They're just kind of test fit sitting in here. But we're just going to run beads along the edges around. So we'll weld this one first and then butt this one up against it, and then weld to it all the way around. Let's get to it. Safety first. One thing I have learned while doing this whole YouTube thing is keep the camera far away from where you're actually welding, because the amount of spatter that comes off of this weld will ruin a lens on a camera. Don't ask how I know that, but it does happen. That is some thin metal. Well, my mask is out of batteries. As a result, I can now see spots. Well, ain't that just always the way? Can't weld because we need a battery, because my mask is an auto dimming mask and it needs a battery in order to work, and you can't use it without one because it doesn't just stay dark. We're off to Tractor Supply. I'm gonna take this one. There's another one around here somewhere. Anyway, Annabelle and Emmett are coming with. So I wanted to come out and show you guys our beans real quick. So they go, this is that field that we replanted. The deer came out of the woods. I don't know if you remember that. We replanted way back in there and around that tree line where the deer ate it up. But these beans look really good. These are Plenish 4.6s, I think. I have to go back and look on the sheet, but I think these were Plenish 4.6s here. And they look really good. There's still quite a few green stem in there. I'm not sure if the camera picks it up, but if you look down the row, you just see these patches of green. And what you want are dead stems like this. So really what we need is a frost. A frost will kill those stems. We could combine them right now as long as the bean itself is ready, which with the rain we had yesterday, they're not gonna be, but we might be able to harvest these the end of this week coming, which is perfect because we're gonna be done corn hopefully by Wednesday. So yeah, see, they're mushy. I mean, look at the amount of pods on them. All the way up to the very top. I mean, there's just pods everywhere. This is going to be a very good crop. I'm excited for this. I mean, this is going to do really well. Then you got things like this. You got this one lonely plant. You know, all these other plants have defoliated. And then you've got this one plant that's just hanging on for dear life and won't die. Makes you wonder, probably maybe a group 5 soybean made it into the seed, and that's a group 5, and that's why it's not dead. But anyway, this is right down the road from Tractor Supply, and I wanted to stop in here and show you guys. This looks really, really good. I'm excited to get in here and harvest this. As this is going to go high yield. I think this is going to do very well. Got the new batteries in. I was able to weld. Been welding for a little while. It ain't pretty. No matter what I do, I just can't seem to get the welder set, because I'm going from paper thin metal where I need to crank the heat way back to thick metal where I've got to crank it way up. So it flows good for a little bit and then stops and sparks and sputters and carries on. But this is the end result. I'm probably going to have to grind this back down and hit it again, because it's super thin right here. It's burning right through without much effort. Here where I had the 2 plates to weld to, and I had enough metal there to work with, it went pretty well. I mean, there's a time or two where it would burn through, but for the most part that went pretty well. And right up here did okay, but you can see it's a disaster. it's just a disaster. There's no other way to put it. Junk. It's all junk. So I'm gonna I'll hit that, grind that, because that ain't doing nothing. I'll just grind that off and try hitting that again, play with some settings a little bit more, but we're making progress, I guess. And you can see right there where it burns right through. There's just nothing to be done about it. This whole trough just needs to be replaced. It's got a lot of acres on it, a lot of wear and tear. This is just a temporary patch to finish the year out, and then this is all going to come out. So that's why I don't really care. I don't really care what it looks like, as long as it holds and grain doesn't fall through it. That's the big thing. I know the auger, the flightings on the auger is not going to hit nothing. I mean, it's well below that, so it'll last us till we finish up. Okay, now let's see what else I can tear up. All right, well, I'm at a point where I'm just gonna have to stop. It's just getting so thin, I can't weld to it. I can't do anything with it. I could possibly braze it, but what's there is gonna hold. It'll get us through the 30 acres, and then we'll just replace the whole trough. But that's all I'm willing to do on this job. It's starting to be more aggravation than it's worth. Those plates are there, they're not gonna go anywhere. We're not gonna lose any corn, not gonna tear anymore, so we're good. We're good. It can stay until we figure something else out. I'll look up the parts and pieces on that. Okay, let me clean up my tools. So here's another company that makes aftermarket stuff called Slonex. They make a poly kit, and this is just the trough section, and this is probably what we'll end up doing. It fits our corn head, so we got a 1063. We do have the 33-inch opening. $295 if that really does do the whole combine, the whole head, I should say. And it looks like there's two of these and one of those. This would go in the middle, and then this on the left side, and then there's another one there that would go on the right side. I'm thinking that's for the whole trough, and it bolts into place. Comes with the hardware. I have to look it up and give them a call tomorrow, but that would probably be the route we end up going. It's Sunday. I deserve one. You can judge me if you want. I don't care. On a beautiful day like this, drinking a nice beer, nice crisp evening, all I can think about is, let's go, Brandon. $4 gas. Let's go, Brandon. Maybe I could give elephants a proctology exam. Or a few politicians.